Hey WolfTrader crew, this is Shane Smolian back with a quick update on the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000. Diving into our TriCore Matrix Buy 2 signal and the Gemini 4 system. I've got 4 slides to break it down, starting with what I shared yesterday before the Jackson Hole meeting. So are you ready to trade smarter? Hit subscribe and like, and let's jump in. So first of all, here is yesterday's S&P 500 closing bell TriCore summary pre-Jackson Hole. A TriCore Matrix Buy 2 signal was firing, driven by 3 components. The BAT model here, which is a breakaway trading system. This is strictly price action. We have the Fed use, which is measuring the influence of the Federal Reserve. And we have the Quad Lunar Cycle, which measures cyclical factors of the moon. When 2 of these align, we get a Buy 2 or a Sell 2 signal. When 3 of them align, we get a Buy 3 or a Sell 3. So this is a Buy 2. This is good enough. It got us through yesterday, and it picked up the surge today. So the S&P was yesterday was rocking a buy 2, signal bullish vibes heading into that Fed speech. This set the stage for what we expected to be a big day. So let's check on what I said next. So this is actually from the S&P closing bell yesterday. So here's my S&P summary from Thursday before the Jackson Hole Summit. I flagged that the Fed was speaking at 10 a.m. and noting that events like this can mimic Fed meetings. It's not a Fed meeting, but it can mimic a Fed meeting, potentially sparking volatility or signaling rate cuts. And this, we know that this happened with Ben Bernanke in the past. So I knew there was a possibility here. I also called out the Gemini 4 trading system, saying the Russell 2000 was on track for a long signal at the close, pending 4 o'clock confirmation. And boom, today, Powell hints at rate cuts. The market spikes at 10 a.m. And this happened exactly at 10. This was interesting because the AI bots were reading the speech. And so they instantly read the speech and they just bought it. Before he even started really getting into things, they immediately saw the speech and they bought, and it was instantaneous spike. So this confirms our bullish setup for the S&P and the Russell. So next, let's look at the day percent statistics. The day percent statistics are going to give us a statistical analysis of how each symbol behaves each day of the week. So we analyze this. It's a streaming system here. We can zoom in on any symbol that we want. We have all of them here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just look at the Russell, the NASDAQ, and the ES here. So you can see here that on Monday, the Russell has a 60.5% chance of going higher. The NASDAQ has a 55.8% chance. And the S&P has a 65.1% chance. So Monday is a very strong statistical day. So I think there's a good chance we're going to get follow through higher. And I think likely even more from here. I've talked about my longer term forecast here too. But I think this is all signaling bullish. And the thing to think about that I tell people all the time is just think about this for a second. We're just starting the easing cycle right now. We're just starting. So think about this. So that's a good sign if you're a bull. I do think there's potential here for us to keep going higher, but we can tool down. Like I said, we can zoom in on just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We can look at any of these days as we go across here. You can see here Monday is a strong statistical day, as is Wednesday, 65%. So today was was an outlier event, but we were prepared for it, and we knew that there's a good chance that this would have happened. So now we're going to look to Monday. And I do think these probabilities help us stay ahead of the curve. But the question is, how did our Gemini 4 system fare yesterday? Let's wrap that up. This was an interesting day. We talked about this being in a buy signal here. So this is the Gemini 4 system here. I'm trying to clean this up a little bit for you guys just so it's easier to read. But essentially, these are the actual trades that it made since August the 4th. We're running these. The optimization stopped on the 4th. And so on September the 4th, I will do the next optimization, and we do a month at a time. So the Gemini 4 on this Russell 2000, we nailed the long signal as it predicted, but we exited before the Fed speech due to dodge volatility. So this is generally a smart move because the 10 a.m. spike was so fast it could have blown through our stops if it went south. So it ended up being correct. I mean, we were correct on the call, but that's not always the thing to look at. When we have such a volatile day like this, I mean, it's great that it went and it hits the target here. Obviously, it kept going here. But a key lesson here is the following. A correct signal does not always mean a tradable day. So you might look at the chart and be like, well, what do you mean? I mean, look at the chart. It was right. And so what I'm talking about is this is not accounting for slippage. And when you have big moves like this, your stop can get blown through and you can have double the loss of what you wanted. So we want to stay, we stayed positive. We got out a little bit early. We made money on the trade, but we avoided the chaos. That's the main thing. I mean, it's great that it worked and it picked the direction correctly, but it's not always tradable. I mean, and so the slippage on these days is just tremendous. And I talked about these days, these data days, from GDP to jobs reports to inflation. They're getting more and more volatile. So I think it's wise just to step aside a little bit before and get out of these trades. Okay. So today we just got out at a generic. I just picked an hour before 9 o'clock. We're going to get out. Um, but in the future, I'm going to be optimizing the exit. So we're not going to be trading across on the system. We're not going to be trading across GDP, jobs, inflation, Fed speeches like this, Fed meetings. So what I'm doing is I'm analyzing the exits on 5-minute intervals from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. And so what I'm going to do, this is for the 6 symbols. This is just the Russell. But soon we'll have tailored exit times for news days, not just a blanket approach. So for example, I'm going to look at the Russell. I'm going to say, when is the best time to get out on this day between 7 to 8:30? And it will tell me. So it'll be tailored. So we might close out the Russell at like 8:15 if the meeting is 8:30. We might close out the Euro at 7:05 or whatever it is. But I'm going to look at the chart. I'm going to run this optimization for time exits. Now, normally we don't do time exits. I'm not a big fan of time exits. I just let the system run to the close. But on these reports, what we want to do is we just want to make sure that when we're getting out at the ideal time on these specific days. There might be 4 or 5 days a month that this happens, but the system trades pretty often. I mean, it's not an always in system, but it trades quite a bit. So there's a good chance we'll be trading across those news days in the future. So just stay tuned for that. I will have that posted for subscribers on those early exit times. Today it went long again, so there's no real big meetings coming up next week. There's nothing crazy. The Fed meeting is going to be next month. So to me, this just looks like a continued bullish action here to the upside. So to recap, the TriCore Matrix nailed the buy 2. This is a longer term signal. The Gemini 4 crushed it on the Russell, and we're sidestepping the volatility like the pros. So we just don't want to be involved with these trades. It's just not smart. So if you guys want more, you can sign up for our free email list at wolftraderfutures.com or in the description below. You can also follow us on Twitter at WolfTraderFutu1. And I do post updates there, and I'll post charts sometimes. I give updates on webinars, things like that. You can join us on Saturday. We have webinars. We're going to have a webinar tomorrow. It's a free webinar. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/wolftrader, you'll get access to all the webinars. So I'm going to archive all those webinars for you, the Patreon subscribers. So if you want to get access to that, you can get it there. So again, the links are below if you want to follow us or sign up for the email list below. So in closing here, I want to wish everybody a safe night and a safe weekend. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Make sure to trade smart, and I'll see you the next time. Make sure to smash that like button, and let's ride these markets together.